brings you out to Israel?
Well, I'm really concerned about the attack by the Israeli forces on peaceful ships plying the Mediterranean Sea on their way to Gaza to deliver humanitarian aid. And Israel claims that they were doing it in self-defense. And it's amazing that you can organize a military attack with naval vessels, aircraft, and then call it self-defense. It doesn't even make sense on the face of it. And we saw on television, maybe on Channel 5 even, part of the Israeli footage where they showed people on the boat responding very spirited way to defend their ship from these Israeli soldiers who were coming down from the helicopter. But they didn't show what happened before that or after. And now we've heard from some of the people who were just released from prison from Israel that actually the Israeli soldiers had been firing on the ships before they came down from the helicopters. And we heard from Michael Oren, the Israeli ambassador to the United States, who said that in planning the mission, the Israelis knew that you cannot attack a ship that large without using violence. You can't do it non-violently. So the ambassador, having made this admission, the self-defense argument has evaporated. And I think it's very important that the Israeli government not be allowed to take severe, harsh action against civilians and then claim self-defense. They tried to do that in Gaza, and they tried to do that in Lebanon in 2006, and they are continuing to try to do that. And it's important for the American people, I think, to understand that when you send in military forces and nobody's been attacking you, well, you can't claim self-defense.
What would you like to see the American government do at this time?
I think the American government should be acting to protect the civilian population in Gaza from the attacks by the Israeli government. As a Jewish American, I think it's vital that Israel not be allowed to do things in the name of the Jewish people that are horrendous. We want peace, and the way to get peace is for Israel to end the occupation of Palestinian territory, provide equal rights for all people who live under their rule, and allow refugees to return to their homes and villages. We in our country went through a long, difficult civil rights campaign so that everyone in America could have equal rights. And yet, we're sending $3 billion a year to support a government that is incredibly discriminatory against the 20% of Israelis who speak Arabic and are Arabic citizens. And then the other millions of people living under Israeli rule, under occupation. And then we're paying for them to take over gradually, to take over the land that belongs to the Palestinians. This is taking what was happening in the South in our country, and instead of opposing it, our federal government is supporting it. And it's wrong. We should be stopping that military aid and stopping that economic aid until every single person has equal rights in Israel. There's nothing Jewish about discrimination. And the Israeli government has to stop it. They have to stop the violence. These aggressive attacks against neighboring countries and against people living under their occupation have to stop. The aggressive attacks against people, human rights workers who come to deliver aid, have to stop. We need to allow the people of Gaza to live with the same dignity that the people of Israel live with.
Great. And where do you work here?
I'm a lawyer. I have my own law practice. I'm a patent lawyer.
Okay. Can I get your name?
My name is James Mark Leas.
Okay, and what's the name of your firm, James?
It's the law office of James Mark Leas.
Thank you, James. And so for you, you say it's nothing Jewish about what's going on right now, and you take personal interest in this because you don't like to see what's happening, you say, in the name of your religion, what you say.
Right. I don't think there's anything. When you covet the property of another people, isn't that a violation of the 10th commandment? Why is that Jewish, to violate the commandments? When you murder people on the high seas, when you plan an attack that you know is going to involve violence against civilians, And there's no real reason to do it. They're delivering humanitarian aid. Why is that? How can you possibly call that Jewish? Isn't bringing... When I was a little boy, the first thing we did when we came to Hebrew school was put money in for the poor. Isn't this what they were doing? They were bringing humanitarian aid for people living in dire poverty under a military occupation, which is blocking food and supplies and building materials, and especially after Israel finished a war where they destroyed thousands of homes, they destroyed hospitals, over 23 hospitals were hit. They used white phosphorus on the UN facilities in Gaza. And I went to Gaza with the National Lawyers Guild delegation immediately after Operation Cast Lead in February of 2000. And we saw with our own eyes incredible destruction. And, I mean, they bulldozed whole communities. It was, they're close enough. They bring in their equipment and they destroyed vast areas. And they destroyed farmland. What did the 100,000 chickens on a chicken farm do to harm Israel? Why were they attacking the livelihood so that the people who are living in Gaza could support themselves? They destroyed agricultural land, and they still have some 40% of agricultural land preventing people from even walking there because it's too close to the fence with Israel. So they'll shoot them if they go on the land to harvest their crops. This is an outrage, and there's nothing Jewish about it.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.